Hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkovic. Today we're going to talk about heating your wall tent as an option and some of that kind of stuff in this really cool heater. Reason for that is with a wall stove, for the last few years I've been using over here, I have a wood stove right here. The cylinder style wood stove, it's been fantastic. I've been using it about almost got to be pushing about 10 years now. Thing is incredible. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely incredible. Downside to it is when you get to camp, number one, it's heavy. You're looking about 75 pounds for the stove setup. But you have to then, when you get there, you got to take it, you got to open it up, which I'm not doing all that right now, but you got to open it. Inside of there is the stackable pipe that is it stacks inside of itself. You got to put together. You got to put the legs on it. You got to put it in the tent. You have to carry wood. You got to either carry wood or you got to cut wood, which means you're bringing a bow saw, you're bringing a chainsaw with you, things of that nature to get it done. You got to have that wood available. You got to, load it up, light it, start it, fire it up. It's a lot of work. And when you're camping, you're usually not running a wood stove all night long. So it's not like your cabin where you're using it for a source of heat all night. Usually with a wood stove, you're going to turn it on while you're in camp. It's going to be there while you're going. You'll load that stove up once before you go to bed. 2.5 hours later, it's going to be completely out. Either you got to get up and fill it again, or you just suffer through the night and not deal with it. So it's kind of a, and then in the morning when you get up, we even bring a little propane heater because I don't want to deal with having to restart the fire. So normally, we always bring this one too. Can I see it in here? Maybe. You can kind of see it there, but that's a propane stove right there. Or a propane burner right there that we bring. It goes with us. We have that next to the cot, and we fire that up in the morning to kind of take the chill out of the tent when we're getting ready and in the mornings and stuff. So the wood stove, I'm looking at it going, okay, wait a minute. So I'm packing this big wood stove. I got to set it up. Setting up doesn't take long, maybe 10 minutes. Taking it down takes a solid half hour to clean all the pipes out. Mess with all that, dump it out, clean all the ashes out. It's messy, a pain in the butt to work with, and get it done. So this year instead, I brought this heater, my Mr. Buddy, which we love. I have 3 of these. I have this one here. We got one in the house. I got another one I've never even touched up there still that hasn't been opened yet. And the extension cord on here. And this works really well. We brought this with us to Missouri, and it worked good. Okay, it worked great down to nights. We had nights ranging from 20 degrees to 50-degree nights. And we were comfortable and fine in there without a problem. Then I went over to Steve's tent. And Steve had one of these running, okay? He had this cooker, or this heater here running, and he had it on low, and his tent was so hot. And we're like, whoa, what is that heater? And he said, yeah, I bought it last year when I was down here and I froze my butt off because I didn't have my stove, so I went to Walmart and bought it. And so I was checking it out, did some research on it. Like this one here, I think is, I don't remember, but it's like it goes up to like 18,000 BTUs. I think it's 9, 15, and 18 on medium, low, and high. 9, 15, and 18,000 BTUs. Well, this thing here goes all the way up to 40,000 BTUs. It has low, medium, and high. This one is actually, it's Redstone, but it's actually made by Dynaglow. It was a Dynaglow one that I went to go get, and that's what they had, and they're the same exact thing. I'll put links down to these below the video. If you want to click on the text description below, I'll have links right to these on there for you. Does it say on here what it does? It probably does in the owner's manual. Let's see here. Does it say anywhere on here? No, it says it goes up to 10 hours on a full 20-pound tank on high, which you will never put this thing on high. It's got a high, medium, and low. And like I said, on low, it was blowing Steve out of that tent. He's got the same size tent I got. But what's nice about this is that it's going to run. Now, this is something I'm working with here, but this thing is you're going to turn it on. And you're going to turn it on, and literally in a minute and a half, your tent's hot. That's the key thing. So you turn it off. I took his, put it in my tent, which had no heat running in it at the time. You turn this thing on, and in a couple of minutes, it's warm. There is so much heat radiating out of this thing, it's not even funny. And we are running on low right now. So this thing is going to be pretty nice. But look at how nice and compact of a unit. I'm taking 2 propane tanks with me, one there, and then I got another one in a trailer. So all I have to pack is 2 propane tanks and this heater right here. The fan thing we'll talk about in a minute. But this will heat that tent anytime we need it. We can leave it run on low, leave it run for whatever, while we're in there doing whatever we want to. And then in the mornings before we get out of the sleeping bag, I can just fire this thing up. It is not electric start, but all it takes is just like anything else. You push in, you push in a primer, and then you just hit a lighter, and it lights right up. But it takes no time at all to get nice and hot, and it'll keep that warm. It will dry, and because it's radiant heat, it will also dry all of our clothes really fast. There's a lot of heat coming out of this. I did bring a temperature gun. We are on low right now, and this thing is running at 1,000 degrees inside there right now, 1,000 degrees there, but on the top, we're only at 270 degrees basically, because it's kicking all that heat out the sides. That's amazing. 1,000 degrees right there. And on the top plate, you're only pushing 230, 250, so under 300. So all that heat is radiating out at me. It's insane. Now this heater here, or this fan is designed to go on top of a wood stove. And I bought it to experiment with this, and my intent was originally to mount that on top of this heater to keep that heat down, because your cots and everything are down low, and you do have heat, even though this one is doing such a good job. Now, when I went and ran that thermometer above this one, we were getting 600 degrees on the top of this. That meant all that heat was going up and away. Nothing was coming towards us. So I thought that fan might help blow it towards us without burning up batteries, because this fan does not require any batteries. It runs basically on heat. But notice on this one, like I said, we're 1,000 degrees here, and we're only 300, 250 degrees on the top. That means that is doing such an efficient job of pushing that heat out at us rather than let it escape out of the top. This thing is pretty amazing, and I'm really impressed with it. I think it's going to be a great heat source. Now, I leave in 3 days for Kansas, and I'm going to take this with me and do the test out there. But like I said, the reason I'm doing a review now is because I already did the test on Steve's. He has the same exact one, and this thing was amazing. This thing worked incredible. So I'm real happy with that. Now, the fan thing on this, and it does have tip over safety and all that kind of stuff. Some of you guys might be saying, well, you're using propane in a tent. Remember, I'm in a wall tent. Okay, now this one has an O2 sensor on it here, so I use that in the house, we use that in the camper and everything like that. This one I do not believe has an O2 sensor on it, but it doesn't matter anyway if you're like me and you're in a wall tent, because there's so much airflow through a wall tent and it breathes so much anyway. So I have no concerns about that whatsoever. But this one here, like I said, high power heater. Now the fan that's on this I got from Amazon. Again, I'll have links down below for all this stuff for you. But what I'm doing here is I'm testing to see that angle I want, and I can just leave that wire there if I want. It's just a piece of trapping wire, just regular, trapping wire that I use for all kinds of stuff. I showed it to you guys many times before, just a roll of this trapping wire right here, and I got tons of rolls of it. I use it for everything. But I have that, holding that to see that angle, and if I like it, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of aluminum, drill it into the bottom of this, and run that aluminum out, and then angle it down with a hook, so it just sits right on there real quick. This is experimental phases. But this thing right here operates from anywhere. They say it operates from 180 degrees up to 650 degrees or something, and we're at the base of that, we're at 400 degrees on there, and that is just spinning like crazy. That thing is just blowing. I don't know if you can see it real well in there. Let me try and get a better angle. That thing is cooking around. It looks actually like it's going pretty slow on video here, but it's moving. And I can feel that airflow all the way down here like that. So in a tent, that's nice. So that heat that's escaping from the top, it's taking and throwing it back down. So I'm pretty pumped up about this. Now that's on low. Let's see what happens when we crank this thing up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank it to medium, and we're going to see what gets going. I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll check temps and see what it is, and we'll do the same thing on. All right, we've had it for about 10 minutes on high here, on medium, and this thing here, we're still, what are we at here on this? We're registering 950 on the inside, so same thing, about 1,000. Top plate, we're running 350, so we went up 100 degrees there, and we're running 450 there, so we went up a couple hundred degrees on the fan. But you can see this fan now is cooking. Well, you still can't see it on there. I'm telling you, it's moving fast. Must be the aperture setting and shutter speed on the camera, but I can feel that heat is just whipping down here, that air coming out of that fan. is blowing really hard. I mean, to the point where that thing's really, I mean, you can feel it. It's making a huge difference. So that's pretty impressive. Also note that there is a cooktop on this top plate like that. So now it being a little more, I mean, I probably wouldn't put a gallon of water on there or 2 gallons of water or anything like that, but or up to about a gallon. But you could very easily take my kettle and set my kettle full of water on top of this thing and heat that for a shower in just about a minute, which is going to be awesome. And or like cooking cooking macaroni and cheese, warming up soups, any of that kind of stuff, making coffee, simple and easy to do right on the top of this. And it does have that drip pan in there to keep that surface, so it'd keep anything from getting in there and be easy to clean out. So definitely a pretty sweet little heater. And that fan is pumping, man. That fan is just, I mean, I can feel that blowing on me really well down here. Even here, I can still, this far away, whatever that is, 3-4 feet from there, I can still feel that fan pumping away. Now we're going to go ahead and turn this up to high and see what high does. God, I can't even stand here. Oh, there's high. So we'll give that a few minutes and come back and check and see what it does on full. Look at that fan even kicking up more. But we'll come back and check on this in a minute and see what it's like. All right, it's cooking away on high. It's only been a couple minutes here. We're going to give it, spend like 6 minutes. We're going to give it another couple minutes and see. But the beauty of this thing is that you can actually use this now instead of with a wood stove. God, that's hot there. But instead of using a wood stove where you have to light the fire, deal with the wood, mess with everything, and then have to fight with a propane heater in the morning or light a fire in the morning, wait for the fire to burn out. With a fire, when you light a fire in a wood stove, in a wall tent, you have to wait probably a half hour before that heat gets hot enough that it actually starts to heat the tent up. 20 minutes probably. This will heat that tent up in a minute flat. It's amazing. And when you're done and you get your clothes on, so in the morning, when it's only taking you 10 minutes to get ready, if you were to light a fire, that's not even going to do anything for you. You almost got to get out of your sleeping bag, light the fire, get back in your sleeping bag, which takes 5 minutes to get the fire going, then get back in your sleeping bag and then wait 15, 20 minutes for the tent to get warm enough, get out of your sleeping bag and get dressed. Not that it's a bad thing. I'll never knock a wood stove in a wall tent. I love my wood stove, that's for sure. And for winter camping, that's probably what I'm going to still use, is that wood stove. But for trips where you're going and you're just getting, where it's highs of 50 during the day and 20s at night, my sleeping bag works. It does everything I need to. This, though, what I want is I want a heat source that I can turn on when I get back to camp. So it's on while I'm taking a shower, while I'm cooking stuff, while I'm sitting there hanging out and that kind of thing in there for an hour or so before I go to bed. And then when I get up in the morning, I want to turn something on. It's going to heat it quick, let me get dressed, and then I can turn it back off right before I'm ready to roll out. This is going to provide that service for me way better, more efficiently, quicker, and easier than a wood stove is gonna. And I also want something that can dry out my clothes. This will dry those clothes quickly. I can hang them all over the tent up above there. Give you an example here. Let's just see out of curiosity. Now this is a long way up there compared to my wood tent, but because I got 8 foot. So what are we at here on this? Just checking this right above there. We're at 100 degrees on that aluminum, or that door right there. It's 100 degrees, and actually this stove is really going up there. I should be checking up here. Yeah, 110 degrees on that plastic shovel that's about 12 feet up. So it makes a big difference. This is going to heat, and like I said, the radiant coming out of this is pretty incredible. So I'm excited. This is going to do what I want, and it was dirt cheap. It's like $100 for the heater, and you can get these fans for as low as $30. I think this one I paid $40 for because it had the guard on it. I like the guard. Because this thing's going to get beat up bouncing around in a trailer, and I wanted to guard the blades because Joe has one of these we bring with us on the wood stove, and it doesn't have a guard on it. And what happens is the blades get bent, and it gets to be a pain in the butt because the blades are pretty thin. So having the guard on there was a nice feature. That's why I went with this particular one I did. But give you an example temp-wise on here, what are we at here? Over, it's not even going to rate it now on my thermometer gun here. Let's try it again. Yeah, it's over. It won't even rate it. On the top, what are we at? 400 on the top plate still. And what are we at on here? 550 on the base of that thing. And that fan is cooking. It is spinning pretty good. But this thing's pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. This is a heck of a heater. I'm excited. I use these things so much. These heaters here so much. I know these inside and out. And I know what they're capable of. And this thing cannot come anywhere near what this does. Two different purposes, though. That one is a fantastic indoor heater, and it works great in a tent. Works great in, and I'll put a link down below for this too, and maybe a link to the video I did on these, a review on these, because we love these things. But use them in the camper, use them in our wall tent, use them in a regular tent, use them in our sunroom. We use these things in, in the wintertime in that sunroom. We use these everywhere. They are amazing. This thing right here, for what I need in camp, is going to be absolutely amazing. That worked good, but when I saw Steve had this in his, and I borrowed and played with this for a little bit, off the charts amazing. This thing is an ultimate wall tent heat source that's going to be just absolutely incredible. So there it is for you. Highly recommend. I will put links down to this stuff below for you. But if you're running a wall tent and you're having, looking for the same kind of setup and purpose out of a heater as I am with it, this may be perfect. And I'm telling you this too, in this garage right now, it is warm in here. It is warm when I'm standing by here. I wonder if it'll just radiate right here. Let's see where we're at right here by it. That's the floor. Oh, that's right, because this is directional. I don't think it'll pick up if I try to shoot across. No, it's saying 90 degrees on that white tank out there, and it's only 50 degrees outside. We're at 90 degrees on that white tank all the way over there. What do we at on that right there? Yeah, 80 degrees over there. I mean, this thing is just pumping out the heat. I mean, this thing's just insane amount of heat coming out of this. So there you go. There's a review of this. Like I said, doesn't matter if it's Dynaglow, Redstone. They're all the same exact thing. Mr. Heater even has one. It's the same exact thing. They're made by the same companies, and brought over here. I'm sure it's made in China. That's how all this crap is today. But this thing right here, pretty impressive. Again, I will have some links down below for you for that one, and I'll probably throw some links in here too. What's nice also, for $100, you get this, and you also have the hose, and everything that you need is already there. So you have your hose connection on there as part of it. All it does is clamp right on the top right here. We'll turn this off, and then I can show you a little more. But it's just this little clamp right here that sits right on there. So very easy and simple to take off and on. Whereas this one, you're going to pay $130 for the heater, and then you got to pay another $30 for the connector on the hose for it as well too. So like I said, a lot of nice features to this for the money. I'm very impressed with it. I'm pretty stoked, and I'm excited to take it down to Kansas and see what it does for us. So all right, there you go. That is that heater for you, that Dynaglow. They call it a 360 heater is what it's actually called, the Dynaglow. Like I said, this is made by Redstone, but it's the same thing. 360 tank top heater, radiant heater, and this thing is just impressive. If you've ever been to outdoor bars or patios where they got those big propane heaters that stand, those upright ones, same concept, same reflector design, same kind of thing, and it just radiates that heat and sends it down. Man, you can just still feel that coming out of there, and that's turned off. But yeah, very impressive setup. Links will be down below for you. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. All right, bye.